So LeBron James has officially gone on the record to say that he wants Carmelo Anthony to join the Los Angeles Lakers. As we all know, is that Carmelo Anthony at this point started off the NBA season playing about 10 games for the Houston Rockets before ultimately getting cut because, the team was off to a bad start. I will say it wasn't all Melo's fault out there. No, he did not fit in, but at the same time, there was injuries on the team and there was other players on the squad that exactly were not playing up to their normal selves out there. So you cannot put that full blame on Carmelo Anthony. With that being said, though, does Carmelo Anthony fit in any way with the Los Angeles Lakers, who are currently 15-9 on the NBA season, and they are actually like a top 5 team right now in the Western Conference with just 2 games separating them between the 5th place and also the 1st place spot? I look at the roster and I look at Carmelo Anthony, and I really do not see a realistic fit where it could work out. Now, I know from LeBron James' standpoint, he might have the mindset of, well, look what Tyson Chandler did for this team out there. And Tyson Chandler helped fill that void of just bringing a nice defensive anchor, because that's what the Lakers did not really have. Sure, JaVale McGee was playing good basketball, but outside of him, there was not really another solid center on this team. So you look at Melo. Does he fill any voids for this squad? Because the Lakers right now are currently like top 10 when it comes to offensive efficiency out there and, making their shots and everything along those lines and points per game. They're pretty good in the NBA at that. I mean, a big part of that is LeBron James and him, just going to like takeover mode at times. But I mean, defensively, this team is about middle of the pack, it looks like, and Melo's not going to help you defensively, so there's no real reason to sign him for that. I think I'm all Carmelo Anthony right now, though. And right now, the way he plays and the way OKC had him playing, the way the Houston Rockets have him playing, was playing off ball, without the ball in his hands and having him sit on the three-point line, or sometimes getting the ball in isolation situations, but those were kind of few and far between, but kind of just trying to make him a stretch big. And Melo's three-point shot for the past few NBA seasons, it's never been great. He's had a few seasons where he would knock it down with a little bit of efficiency. Looking at the 2014 season with the Knicks, he shot about 40% from 3. But for the most part, last year with OKC with a few attempts, about 35%, which is like respectable. The 10 games this season with the Houston Rockets, about 33%. That's like just borderline, like, okay, this guy should be shooting threes. But I mean, he definitely has always been the most efficient when he's taken his long mid-range shots. And I use the word efficient very loosely because Melo's field goal percentage has never been like extremely high, unless you want to go back to his early Denver Nugget days, where he was one of the best players in the entire NBA. But his game has not evolved to really optimize a team in this current era of basketball. The long mid-range, it just doesn't prove to work anymore. And I mean, in limited shots off a bench roll, it's like, yeah, that would be fine. But Melo has already kind of proven that he's not really settling to be that bench type of player out there. Yes, he's tried it and he's failed at it, plain and simple. So you look at Melo, not really willing to commit to a bench role, not really looking to evolve his game. And if he's tried to do that, it's not really worked. He wants to post up, he wants to shoot the mid-range shots. But not to mention, looking at the Lakers roster, you already have too many forwards on this team as is. LeBron James, started off the season playing the power forward position. Yeah, he can play any of the 5 spots, but the small forward position is where he excels the most. Kyle Kuzma started the season on the bench, went and started at power forward. Yeah, he's playing pretty good basketball, but even with Kuzma, who is 6'9", 220, you could argue that his optimal position would probably be the small forward position, but of course he's playing the 4 spot, and he's been doing well at it, but I would say he's more of a small forward anyway, just playing the power forward position, as he tried to adapt his game to that. Tried the whole small ball lineup thing with him at center. That did not work. Then you got Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram is the prime example of why Carmelo Anthony does not really need to be on this team. Ingram has had to shift over to the shooting guard position this season. And, we all know, looking back to last season, Ingram was definitely playing his best basketball when the ball was in his hands. And that is no longer happening because, of course, LeBron James is on this team and you want the ball in LeBron's hands. So what position is Melo going to play? Because when LeBron's on the bench, chances are you want to run some sort of like Ingram at small forward position or Kuzma at the small forward position. The 4 spot, that's not really where Melo is going to play right now. It just doesn't make much sense. He's not going to help this team defensively. The team's already doing pretty solid out there, because I think from the Lakers standpoint, you got to ask yourself this. as your team is currently constructed, do you guys think, as a Laker fan, do you think you're going to win an NBA championship this season? I would say the vast majority, unless you're a delusional fan, which those definitely do exist, probably not. They do need that second or third superstar out there. So the only way I could see Melo really helping this team is if he actually went on here and he made the team worse. Because, of course, then they would get, ideally, a lottery pick and add another piece to the puzzle, or get some sort of lottery pick that could be used as trade bait to maybe acquire a second or third superstar after the free agency period is officially over. I understand that, like, Carmelo is LeBron's, bro out there and they're friends and stuff like that, but it was the same situation with Chris Paul. And it's probably the same reason why Melo is probably not going to be on the Miami Heat, because Pat Riley kind of sees the bigger picture with things and realizes, yeah, the friendship's cool and everything. What do they always say? They say don't go into business with your friends, because it's a business and that can ruin friendships. There's been tons of things in the past where, people open up companies together and then they end up bickering because different philosophies, and then they end up fighting and it's just over and they're not friends anymore. So yeah, Melo got to play with Chris Paul, and I'm sure they're still friends in real life, but from a basketball standpoint, from a business standpoint, it did not work out. So I don't see why LeBron James thinks it's going to work out in this case. And I respect LeBron James as a person. Like, he's fine. He's one of the best players of all time, top 2 of all time. Some even say it might be the best of all time. I just don't know. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of clouding his judgment by his friendship and not the player itself. Because ask yourself this, LeBron, if you're watching this video, you're probably not, because you're LeBron James. If I showed you Melo's stat line and you had his history going back a few seasons about the player he's become, but his name was, I don't know, Trevor Ariza or Langston Galloway or, I don't know, man, Courtney Lee, just a player that's in the league. Let's give him the same backstory as Melo. Would you want that player on your team if you knew they did not fit what you're doing out there? Probably not would be my answer. So I don't know, guys. Y'all gotta give me your thoughts and opinions on this. I'm actually gonna pull up NBA 2K19 real quick here, and as you can see, we do have the Lakers' current team on here with Lonzo, Brandon, LeBron, Kuzma, JaVale McGee, and I did actually add Carmelo Anthony to this team. So I'm thinking about 19-20 minutes per game. Sure, why not? Come off the bench and just score the way you're willing to score. This team could have some success. So let's go ahead, and we are going to go ahead and simulate the rest of this NBA season, see how this team does out there. I'm not expecting, like, Melo to put up crazy numbers, but if he can play with the philosophy, we're going to see if it actually works out. So give me 1 second, guys. Going to simulate the rest of this NBA season. Okay, so they ended up with a record of 46-35. One more game against the Trailblazers to simulate through date. And yeah, 47 wins. I still think they can get that done without Carmelo Anthony, and they can actually free up more minutes for, like Ingram and players like that to play the spot that Carmelo Anthony essentially would be taking minutes from. Here's the All-NBA first team: LeBron James, All-NBA second, All-NBA third. Probably not expect to see any other players on there. LeBron, All-Defensive team, of course. And then, yeah, it's looking like about it. So they ended up getting the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. I'm actually kind of surprised. Like, 47 wins, that is nice, but there's probably just like a few games separating between like the 3rd and like the 7th spot out there, knowing the Western Conference. But player stats on the season. So Melo, in about 20 minutes per game, put up 12 points, 4 rebounds. That's it. No real playmaking. Just kind of asked to go out there and score the basketball. Shot about 10 shots per game, which ranked among 4th most on the entire team. Kuzma, Ingram, both those guys should probably be shooting more than Carmelo Anthony, no doubt. I would even say that Josh Hart should probably also be shooting. He's actually one of the better players on this Laker team. But also, field goal percentage-wise, he did shoot about 46%, which is actually really solid for Melo out there. So that's not bad. 3-point shot, about 38%. So, all right, best case scenario, man. I think this is what it probably is that he shoots a pretty good field goal percentage. It just takes, about 10 shots per game. Even like a little less than that would probably be ideal. But I mean, if he's knocking out 38% from 3, then that's adapting his game out there. So let's go ahead and simulate these playoffs and see how it finishes off for them. I do want your guys' thoughts on this in the comment section below, though. Melo, does it make sense? Do you feel like he should go to a team at this point? Do you feel like he should just retire? Because I'm trying to think of like a team that could really use him, and there are teams out there, but I think at this point he might actually want to compete for a championship. We do beat the Utah Jazz in the first round of the series. Melo actually does drop 12 and 5 in the closeout game on 6 for 15 shooting, and he's going to have games like this where he just goes 0 for 5 from 3 and it just doesn't go in. But also LeBron shot 1 for 9 himself, so maybe something was wrong with the rim. All right, next up, the Memphis Grizzlies actually got past the the Houston Rockets. Hopefully not the Lakers. You know, Memphis would not be a bad team because they got Mike Conley. The small forward position, they got Kyle Anderson not really working out all that much, and they got Jaren Jackson and Marcus All out there. That would actually kind of be an interesting fit. I feel like he'd be able to, like, play a style of offense out there. So just another one that kind of came to mind as we're seeing it right here. And we got the Lakers getting to the Western Conference Finals. We got Melo in this closeout game at 7 points on 3 for 10 shooting, which is 30% for all you math people out there. LeBron at 16-8-2, but they still got the W. Golden State Warriors. I don't think this team gets past the Warriors right now, man, but we'll see how this goes. They might actually get swept. Looks like that's probably the case. And yes, same song and dance, guys, as we were kind of expecting here. So we got Warriors Bucks in the finals. Here is the closeout game. Melo at 14.6 for 15. 0 for 5 from 3. We might as well, though, check out his playoff stats while we're at it, just to see how we did. And in the playoffs, Melo, actually the third leading scorer out there. If anything, he would bring that veteran presence, but he doesn't have too much playoff success. So I'm not hating on Melo, by the way, guys. I'm just kind of stating facts here. 12 points, 3 rebounds per game. Shot about 10 times a game again. 48%, that's nice. 3-point shot down to 30%, so he did struggle with that. Played himself about 20 minutes per game, which is what I would expect. All right, we'll go ahead and simulate the rest of this right here just so you guys can see who wins it all. Probably the Warriors, because that's how 2K is. But yeah, I know I did a Laker video the other day. I just had to get my thoughts on this as it came up. I didn't really want to do a rebuild with it. I don't know if Melo really dictates a rebuild anymore, being signed. But if he does go to a team, I probably will do a rebuild of that team just for fun. Hope you all enjoyed, though. Give me your thoughts, comments, and opinions in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.